Hello and welcome to the Business Channel. Today looking at the business case for facilities management, how it can improve performance, free up organisations to focus on their core strengths, and how it encompasses all of those behind the scenes functions and services that are essential to a business operating at its peak.
The best way to describe FM is it's the biggest hidden industry in the UK. Imagine your journey to work on a daily basis. Nearly every part of your journey is affected by the FM industry. Now, you may find that difficult to believe, but think about your journey, the traffic lights, car parking, trains, infrastructure. You get to your office, the door opens, it's clean, the lighting works, the food you eat for breakfast is very good, security guards, friendly reception, the air conditioning's working. It's all taken for granted until something goes wrong. That's when you discover what the FM industry is.
FM is pivotal to the way people behave. It's pivotal to how the building behaves. And in terms of its impact on a building, typically, it probably impacts the 3 Ps: people, process, and performance in various ways. So it has a significant impact. How it's perceived by people within a building typically will dictate how much influence FM will have in the building.
An FM can absolutely improve the way the building operates. It's about developing strong, robust systems of controls and procedures in place. It's about having the right people in the right roles to doing those plays, communicating and listening to your clients, communicating and listening to your customers. Absolutely fundamental to any FM role: communication, communication, communication.
FM really brings huge value when you're making efficiency and improving performance. We can look at how our services are run to the business strategy, making sure that we run efficiently with where the business wants to go to. By bringing your FM into a line, you can be looking at 20 or 30% savings the first time you go through this process, and really bring innovation to the business, really bringing best practice back into the business, and that's really where BIFM can help with your staff as well.
D-ICE deliver high quality, affordable and reliable winter maintenance and risk solutions that can be tailored to a facility's exact needs to keep them operational and protected during periods of adverse weather. I spoke to Managing Director Vicky Lopez.
Ideally, what we would like to do is to be able to provide everybody with a snow clearance and gritting programme that's in place before the cold weather hits. The preventative treatment and attending before snow is actually on the ground is paramount to keeping the site as clear as possible for as long as possible. We can visit, do a site survey, provide site-specific risks and methods statements, and provide a winter programme that's bespoke to the site.
Now, what sort of things would that include? Would it be gritting car parks and pathways?
Yes, primarily anywhere where you've got either cars, vehicular movement and pedestrian movement, then those are the areas that we grit. Car parks, pathways, fire exits, making sure that all the areas that need to be covered are covered when frost and ice are predicted.
Now, you're keeping an eye on the weather, and so you inform your clients, do you, when snow is on its way?
That's right, not just snow, but frosts and ice. Basically, once the parameters of a contract have been set up, we monitor the weather on a daily basis, and then by the afternoon we'll inform the customers that a call out has been effected for that evening and we'll attend the site.
Now, we've heard stories previously on the news that people have been running out of grit or running out of salt, but you never have. Now, how have you managed that?
Well, we work very hard at keeping the relationships with our supply chain, working with them, and we have strategic locations where we keep stockpiles of salt throughout the winter and in fact throughout the year. And during the periods where other contractors were running out of salt, our supply chain was such that we were able to get extra deliveries in at these strategic locations. So we were able to service all of our contracts and other people that had been let down.
Now, presumably it's not just the risk of accidents, people falling over, but delivery vans and things could actually be out of action if they can't get out of an iced-in car park.
Absolutely. Many of the customers that we now have on proactive contracts come to us in the middle of winter when their car parks are iced over. And in one case, yes, we were able to help a logistics company whose car park was sheet ice and whose delivery trucks had run into a stationary vehicle. We sent in the gritters, they gritted that evening, the next morning, and then a proactive preventative programme throughout the rest of the winter stopped any further incidents occurring.
Now, you're also thinking of doing something that your competitors aren't, which is you're going to hedge weather futures. Can you tell me about that?
That's right. Both my husband and I run the company, are from a city background, and we have been looking into dealing of insurance certificates and weather futures and options to hedge the risks for the larger companies that are associated with adverse weather.
Is that something that your clients are interested in?
Yes, certainly. I think anything that can help them hedge their exposure, because in a mild winter they won't spend as much money or have as many visits, but in the winter of 2009-10 and 10-11, which was the worst in 30 years, there were a substantial number of visits that were made that hadn't really been budgeted for. So this will help alleviate some of the financial burden.
Risks come in many shapes and sizes, from health and safety risks to reputational risks to financial risk to security risks. FM is key to all of those. Having well-tested, thoroughly researched procedures in place with individuals who understand their roles and responsibilities during those times of risk or those times of financial accountability is absolutely key to it.
Facilities management is really important when you're looking at compliance of a building, so reducing your risk as far as legislation is concerned. Compliance is one of the massive pieces about facilities management. They have to know what the changes are, what's happening in the marketplace, what's the latest government view, because the government view is also changing all the time. So these guys know and can make sure that you're being compliant, especially if you've outsourced your facilities management function. They'll have whole teams of people that can make sure that you stay compliant.
UK Gutter Maintenance look after commercial, retail and industrial gutters and roofs throughout the country. The hugely experienced husband and wife team, Paul and Kathy Blair, take pride in providing an honest and reliable service unrivalled in the industry. I spoke to Managing Director Kathy Blair about why it would be a mistake to overlook gutter maintenance and why it's so important to facilities management.
Gutters are quite often forgotten about because they're on the roof, they're unseen. So when companies are thinking about their external building fabric, they don't remember about the gutters. And blocked, overflowing gutters can actually cause tremendous cost and disruption to a business. Particularly if the building floods, then it can damage the internal of the building, it can damage all the stock and the equipment that's inside the building. So many, in fact, insurance companies are now recommending that companies actually have their gutters cleaned on a regular basis.
Now, is there a big difference between a company that has just the one property or it has a whole portfolio of properties across the country?
In theory, there shouldn't be a difference, but in practice there is. Insofar as somebody who's just looking after a single building has a very detailed knowledge of that building and therefore can determine what planned maintenance to put into place. However, somebody who's perhaps got, say, 600 stores across the country to look after hasn't got that detailed knowledge, and invariably they are weighing up the risks compared to the costs, often within tight budget constraints. Those with large portfolios will tend to have a combination of both planned and reactive works. And in fact, we as a company have actually helped Carpetright in particular, one of our key blue chip clients, in terms of advising them which stores should actually have planned maintenance.
Gutter maintenance package would include surveyor, first of all, to assess what needs doing. Then we would cost it up, send it to the client, ask him if this is suitable. If he's happy with that, then we'd go down, we'd do the gutters, we'd do the roof, if it needed doing, do the reports, do the photographs, and before anything was invoiced, you would get the reports and photographs.
Now, the photographs are very important, aren't they?
We were the first company to do it. We insisted on it, because the client cannot see what goes on the roof, and it's nice to actually say to the client, this is what needs doing, and this is what the lads have done when they finished. And I think honesty is the best policy.
Now, you would expect maybe gutter maintenance to be seasonal in the autumn. Is that the case?
It certainly used to be, and even less than 10 years ago, people would actually have a gutter cleaning programme in place in the winter months as soon as the leaves had fallen, because clearly leaves can block up all the outlets. However, as everybody knows, the UK weather has changed tremendously, and we now get flash flooding in the summer, these torrential downpours, so it's even as important now to have the gutters, or the outlets at least, free flowing during the summer months.
So with staff all over the UK, how do you ensure quality of service and also health and safety?
We as a company have actually always and purposely been very client focused, and we treat every job as though it was our first. In fact, at a meeting with David Townsley not long after we started, he's the facility manager of Tops Tiles, he actually said you're only as good as your last job, and that really sort of registered with us. So we instill that with all the operatives as part of their work ethic to make sure that we do get consistent standards. And with regard to health and safety, we employ a dedicated in-house health and safety manager. He's had many years' experience working within the construction industry and therefore working at height. And we do directly employ everybody. We don't have any subcontracted labour. So everybody is absolutely fully trained as far as working at height is concerned.
Computer-aided facilities management systems have been around for a while, and the whole point is to try and integrate as much information into one place as possible. So whether it's help desk systems, or whether it's managing suppliers, contractors, or whether it's even personnel within the organisation, those systems are genuinely helping to bring that information together. As IP technology develops, it enables facilities managers not just to access this information at their desk, but also on their laptops, whether they're at home, or on their tablet, maybe in the car, or on their smartphone, because FMs these days very often are looking after multiple sites and a large portfolio of buildings.
Cube Global Software is a UK company that develops and delivers business software applications for every aspect of FM. Their facilities management software, Planet, offers solutions in both soft and hard FM and delivers real business benefits. I spoke to the Director of Sales, Steve Jones, who told me more.
We're finding increasingly these days that people are looking for much faster ROI on their software when they purchase it. So they want to get a real clear return on investment at an early stage. A good example of that might be the Celtic Manor Resort, who bought the system 2 or 3 years ago and have achieved ROI very quickly. For a start, they re-engineered their business processes on the back of putting in Planet FM, and that meant that they could change the way that their engineers worked, so they were spending more time actually managing work than doing administration work. That meant that they could reduce the amount of time that the engineers were working on administrative tasks and get them out on the field actually managing the buildings. Similarly, they were able to reduce the amount of rekeying of information, and they were able to respond far better to the work that was coming in.
Now, facilities managers are increasingly asked to reduce costs and bring efficiencies and greater productivity. But how can you help them in achieving this?
One of the key areas where people can get benefit from that perspective is by increasing their space utilisation. As little as 5% increase in space utilisation can make a very significant difference on their bottom line. And we work with space management tools and move management tools that will enable that process to happen very effectively. Moving forward, using mobile solutions has had a big effect for organisations in recent years in reducing the life cycle from start to finish of dealing with elements of work, and increasing the efficiencies there and reducing the degree of written work that actually has to happen within the organisation.
How do you meet the requirements of clients across the whole aspect of FM, from hard to soft?
FM is a huge area, and we find that FM managers might deal with a very wide variety of areas of responsibility. It's not just about hard maintenance. There's a lot of soft services that are provided as well. And we do things like room booking, managing catering around that room booking solution. We have the ability within our help desk for people to be able to manage all sorts of different inquiries, from taxi bookings to catering requirements, as well as the hard management, hard maintenance side of the system. So there are a wide variety of tools that we're providing, both in soft and hard services.
Now, being in charge of sales and the sales team, you're actually talking to customers. What do you think it is about Cube that finally gets them to go with you and not with a competitor?
Yes, it's not just about providing good software. We have to provide excellent service to our clients as well. And we're doing that in a number of different ways, both from relating personally to people, but also we're looking at digital solutions to that as well. So we're working with organisations. Every year we have a conference which is an opportunity for our clients to understand more about the product, where we're taking it, but also network with their colleagues in the industry. But we're also working beyond that. We have regular road shows across the country where we go out to the different regions and give people the opportunity again to network, understand where the product is going, and provide us with valuable feedback. We have client account managers that work with individual clients and manage the relationship on an ongoing basis. Beyond that, we're also looking at things like e-learning and doing webinar training. We also have a customer zone on our website, which gives our clients an opportunity to put forward suggestions for improvements to the software.
From procurement of materials and procurement of contracts to the conclusion of that contract and the conclusion of the material, FM has a place. It can dictate the carbon footprint. It can dictate it in the micro level at the consumption phase, but in the macro level at the operational phase. And indeed, FM will be pivotal in the way the carbon footprint can be reduced in a building.
Interface is the global market leader in the design and production of carpet tiles. Their products look good, are innovative and functional, and they have the environmental credentials to satisfy their clients' design vision. I spoke to the Director of Sales and Marketing for Northern Europe, the UK and Ireland, Steve Hamilton, about the services that the company provides to support facilities managers and end users.
Well, I think it's beyond products. I think when you think about carpet tile, the concept we have at Interface is that there's a variety of additional add-on services we should be providing. For example, we have something called Tactile, which is a glueless installation method which effectively bonds the carpet tiles together without actually using any adhesive at all. So there's no need for adhesives, and there's no VOCs as a result of that as well. The whole purpose of is quick installation. The concept was created through looking at geckos actually, and how they actually can stick to a surface but also lift vertically their feet to move on that particular surface. So innovation for us is at the heart of some of these solutions. We can create an environment for employees, but from an FM perspective, the real benefit is in the ability to be able to install quickly, to install and maintain a floor for the lifetime of that installation. So we can create a particular flooring solution whereby an FM manager can have a very cost-effective solution. If there's a need to repair or maintain, they do not have to lift the complete floor, they can lift an individual tile, so the cost there is reduced dramatically.
Now you also do furniture lifting?
We do, yes. We have a system called Renovisions, which allows us to create a situation where when replacing carpet tile traditionally, there is a process of putting office furniture into storage, moving office furniture, or even moving cabinets and paperwork. With Renovisions, we can effectively just raise everything off the floor, take out the old carpet tiles, and then install the new carpet tiles. It's quite a novel and quick idea. It reduces time of installation. It means that employees can actually leave the office in the evening, and when they return in the morning, there's actually a new carpet installed in the office.
Now, sustainability is very important to the company, which perhaps people wouldn't expect, you know, from a manufacturer of carpet tiles. People are thinking, oh, there's lots of chemicals and plastics and things, but sustainability is very important.
Yeah, sustainability is basically the DNA of our organisation, and it affects every decision we make within the organisation around our people, around our products, our processes, and even to the extent where we actually have our manufacturing plants globally. We've made some huge strides in terms of our organisation, you know, our water usage, our waste reduction programs. We're running now, we've got 88% less water usage in the organisation. Our waste is over 80% less than what it used to be. So there's some great strides being met, but we're always looking to where we can actually push the boundaries of those targets even further.
Is innovation important in your sector? Do you have new products in the pipeline?
Absolutely. Innovation's at the heart of what we do as an organisation. And, you know, two examples, Sarah, is our ability to find new solutions for carpet tiles. And many years ago, we were told nylon was not recyclable as a product. We've actually gone out there and we've actually found methods of actually using recycled content. So, for example, on Biosphere 1, a recent launched product, the nylon we use from that comes from two sources predominantly, which is fishing nets and also recycled old carpet towels. So we're actually closing the loop with regards to finding new solutions to nylon. Our most recent launch has been on a product called Photosphere, and we're using a bio-based nylon, which is coming from a castor bean plant, is a method of actually making the nylon for the carpet tile.
And where do you see the company going in the next few years?
I think the company is very clearly focused on its innovative and design strategy. You know, we remain a market leader through our innovative design, our look, our feel, our range of products, and that will continue for many years to come.
98% of the buildings in the UK are old stock. So there has to be a way in which the FM industry can take those buildings, look at the energy conservation, look at sustainability, look at zero carbon. And one of the ways that can be done is using the latest technologies. We can now monitor energy consumption right down to desktop level. So with the use of latest technology, with the supply chain bringing in the technology to help the FM companies, it is going to be possible.
Dyson is about solving problems through technology to make things work better, such as a hand dryer that works properly. Dyson Airblade is the most hygienic, fastest hand dryer, which dries hands in just 10 seconds. I spoke to Chris Osborne, the head of Dyson Airblade development, about how this has been achieved. But first, let's hear from the commercial marketing manager, Anna Picorius, about how they work with facilities managers.
So within Dyson, I work within the commercial team, and I provide support to organisations and facilities managers in particular to help them determine their cost and carbon savings should they switch from their current hand drying solution to the Dyson Airblade.
So why have you as a company decided to work so closely with facilities managers?
We feel that we understand that facilities managers have numerous targets to meet, as well as daily operational duties to carry out. And we feel that by switching from their current hand drying solution to the Dyson Airblade, it would help them meet their targets and really ensure that their facility runs smoothly.
Now, how do you demonstrate to them that the Dyson Airblade is actually better than other solutions?
We provide them with a bespoke cost and carbon report, and we gather a lot of information for this report about their current hand drying solution. For example, we ask questions such as how many employees are there in your facility, how many times per day is your current hand drying solution used. And with all this information, we produce the detailed report, and it really highlights their cost and carbon savings should they install and use the Dyson Airblade to help them meet their targets.
And what is it that makes the Dyson Airblade really different to other products which are very similar?
The Dyson Airblade is different from any other hand drying solution available. The Dyson Airblade costs less to run. For example, the annual average running cost for the Dyson Airblade is only £40 per year. It also is the best hand drying solution for the environment compared to any other hand drying method because it has a very low environmental impact. And it also is hygienic. So the Dyson Airblade hand dryer has a HEPA filter, which captures 99.9% of bacteria. So it means that you're actually drying your hands with clean air as opposed to the dirty washroom air.
Well, Anna Picorius, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Here at Dyson, I'm the head of Airblade development. So that means I work as part of the research, design and development team. It's a team of over 650 engineers. And we take the ideas through from concept all the way through to manufacture. Our ethos here at Dyson is based on James's original frustrations with vacuum cleaners. He was frustrated with how they worked, he went away and he solved the problem. We try and take that same approach with everything we do. We developed the Dyson Airblade because we were frustrated with competitors, mainly because they were slow and unhygienic. In some cases they take over 40 seconds to dry your hands. Therefore we set out to design a product that was faster and can dry your hands in 10 seconds. The engineering for the Airblade all started with the blades. We realised that fast-moving sheets of air moving at over 400 miles per hour could dry your hands much quicker than any evaporative dryer. Once we knew that, we had to develop a Dyson motor that was capable of achieving the air pressures and air flows that we need to be able to do that. So that's why we developed the Dyson Digital Motor. We test our Airblades by putting each product through 100 separate tests, and they fall into two different categories: performance testing and mechanical testing. Performance testing is all about the function of the machine. A good example of this is dry time testing, where we use an internationally agreed standard to get confidence in our 10-second dry time. Mechanical testing is all about testing the durability of the parts and the products. We put them through situations like wear and tear, vandalism, to make sure that they can cope with some of the tough environments we install them in. There are three main elements that give us the performance for the Dyson Airblade over other competitors. First being the HEPA filter. So we make sure that all incoming air is taken through a HEPA filter so that all harmful particles are removed before drying your hands. This ensures that the air that's used to dry your hands is as clean as possible. The second of these is the Dyson Digital Motor. This spins to give the flow and pressure that we need. It's also brushless, so there are no emissions. The third part is the blades themselves. These generate the high velocity sheets of air moving at over 400 miles an hour. This allows us to scrape the water from the hands rather than evaporation, which we know takes longer. The Airblade is energy efficient because of its speed. Because we're able to dry hands in 10 seconds, people aren't using it for as long, and therefore they're using less energy.
On the contractual side of it, you have to have KPIs in place, and you measure your service partner against those KPIs. But hopefully you don't have to bring those to the table even at the monthly meetings, because that is indicating there's something going wrong. It's about communication with them, it's about an open door approach with them, it's about positive encouragement and bringing those ideas to the table.
If you think of the working environment, it plays a huge part in the productivity that people deliver for their companies. So if the working environment isn't up to scratch and isn't delivering what the people want, the productivity will go down. There are other ways you can measure it. You can measure energy consumption, you can measure whether the windows are clean, you can measure whether the carpets have been cleaned, you can measure the attitude of the security guards. But at the end of the day, delivering the working environment and increasing the productivity, that's a win-win situation for the client and the FM contractor and the people actually working in the building.
Single source FM suppliers will have either a 1 or a 3-year contract. Significantly, they will be either working towards the end client or be working to the FM provider. Such suppliers need to work in a collaborative way, either with the FM provider or the end client, with the contract being output based, so what's good for the end user, the customer, rather than what's good for the company and what's good for the client. And indeed the KPI should reflect a more collaborative approach, where not necessarily being linked to the commercial reality of the contract, but the customer reality of the contract. And that will provide the best form of service to its customers.
It's about regular meetings. It's about knowing your supplier and your supplier knowing your customer. Because if you have that really good, strong personal relationship, when you need to make an extra demand of your supplier, you know they'll go that extra mile for you. And also measuring it. They want to be meaningful measurements. Customer service, it really is asking the guys on the ground what the service like that they're receiving, because FM really is a service into the business.
We've heard in this programme from our 5 showcase companies how really top-class facilities management can improve efficiency and the smooth running of a workplace. It can help reduce CO2 emissions and energy use, and it ensures a high-quality, productive environment. Plus, it shows in the bottom line. In the UK, the FM industry is worth, by some estimates, around £120 billion a year, and it provides value and a major source of jobs. If you'd like to know more about any of the organisations that we featured in this programme, then look at our website, thebusinesschannel.tv. Bye-bye for now.